First of all, thanks. I'll go a quick fire round. Mr. Murphy, am I correct in saying that in Northern Ireland, I'm not going to mention the companies, that waste timber that might be used on the site if it was left over or cut off can be used for different processing or generating in the north, and the EPA here are not allowing the different people in Southern Ireland under licences to use that timber. Second of all, Mr. Macaulay, yeah, you asked the question, why not want to do it? And you're right, there is a need for commercial. We have the likes of ECC and Murray's given employment, and you need a certain amount to make sure that we keep jobs in areas, out the deputies area in Connemara. But the problem is, there's bad taste in a lot of people's mouth over what's gone on. We have an estimate at the moment, and I would ask Mr. Hayes, what have we not achieved in the last few years? My understanding is we're 5,000 or 6,000 hectares down. We are now saying we're going to plant 8,000 hectares per year. 80% west of Galway is designated. You cannot plant it. Mayo, you cannot plant it. Go around the country. Where are we going to get the land? We're living a lie within a room here of believing we're going to get something that we're not going to get. Thirdly, correct me if I'm wrong here, I have dealt with departments where people have bought land off Ye and Quilcha, and the trees were fit for cutting, and there was a planting obligation on raised bog, wet peatland. And tell me one person here, can you say that you don't have to replant it? Because the facts are that you do. On raised bog. In the line of Mr. Hayes, 6% of our countryside is covered in, basically a lot of it is broadleaf, with farmers, with state bodies, and not one bit of that is used in our emissions. What is our department doing to resolve that issue? Right around Ireland, it is not included in it. Thirdly, why haven't we brought out a half an acre up to 50 acres, an acre up to 100 acres. One time ago, if you want to go this broadleaf thing and bring down emissions, you could put 30 trees of a shelter belt in an area, down along by a ditch of these broadleaves, and still not interfere with farming under an environmental scheme or a CAP scheme. To be 60,000 hectares you'd achieve in 1 year, but we ain't got the money for it. That's our biggest problem. Thirdly, when we do talk about problems, and you've said, Mr. Macaulay, why are farmers not willing to go down this road? Well, Quilcha alone there have partnerships with farmers that they haven't addressed, that there are problems out there. And you know, and I know, in the business world, that one person tells another person, and they'll say that we're engaging. Engaging isn't solving. You need a good, one time ago when you were sowing timber to sort the bad piece of land down at the back of the garden or down at the end of the field. The day is gone now that that won't happen. You have to have a better standard of land, and we have ended up, there is a bad taste in a lot of farmers' mouth, and word spreads. So farmers are getting reluctant to do it. Second of all, Mr. Hayes, you are familiar where a farmer that's in forestry for 3 years, I've contacted you and your people for the last year to 18 months, where they wanted to brash trees to get in. The licence was given to dig drains. And it's gone round in circles of a person that has forestry to try and improve their forest. And your department has not addressed the problem. And this is why people wonder, why aren't we going down the road of forestry more? How many licences at the moment is being stopped by so-called environmentalists that's going to save the world? How many roads are being blocked? And how many areas that people want to plant trees is being blocked, and it's not being addressed. The Derry Bryan case has been a problem, and we have nothing addressed. Okay, I
want to start. The first question, I think, was to
was to be, and I apologise.
Yeah, just quick is all I want to do.
I didn't quite understand the question. I talked about
timber roof. Put up your timber, the piece of timber that's left. It's what you call used timber, even though it was never used. You can bring it down to Belcast or whoever down the north. You can get a licence for that.
No, you can't, because it's not Forest Stewardship Council recognised, and you just simply can't do it. You may be able to burn it in your fireplace. There's nothing stopping you doing that, but of course we have an incinerator down the road here, not very far away.
Burn it there, unfortunately.
Bring in Sorry, Mr. McCauley, you had questions.
Just in terms of, where's the land for forestry, that's the burning question. We need to find it. It needs to be the right kind of land. It needs to be economically viable. It needs to be environmentally viable and not have any problems associated with it. And the other thing you point to around, farmers' attitudes and farmers' experiences, it's absolutely paramount even in the system at the moment. The farmers who are going into the process now need to have a good experience. They need a quick answer. They need to get their licence and they need to be able to get on with it. Otherwise, they change their mind and they do something else.
Bring in, sorry, the department maybe next, Mr. Hayes.
Issue of hedgerows, which I think the Deputy mentioned, we addressed that actually earlier on,
the outset of the meeting.
before your arrival, but I'm happy to repeat if...
Very briefly.
quick,
really.
No, but basically, you're right, they're not included as things currently stand. It's one of the actions in the Climate Action Plan is to do a deeper assessment of basically a baseline survey of what hedgerows actually sequester. Maybe they'll be included at some future point.
The simple way of doing it, when the single farm payment application goes out to farmers, ask them, give them €50 extra and ask them to count the trees they have on their lands and what they are. Or they're grown since 1990, away with you.
And I did point out, successive agri-environment schemes, we've planted the bones of 6,000 kilometres of new hedgerows around the country. So we're alive to the issue. I don't think we're on a different page.
There's other questions there about raised bog, replanting.
Bog, yeah.
Mr. Moore, that comes on itself.
Sorry, I suppose we're talking about any new afforestation on raised bogs. It does not take place, but certainly what we have is the existing forest cover is 11% of Ireland, and our policy is to maintain that level of forest cover.
So the policy is to keep planting on raised bog of what was planted already.
Reforestation on all types of soil types could take place, but with the Forestry Act, we can actually amend the species. We can look at different species and look at different management.
It's not being done. That's it.
We can look at different management perspectives.
Okay.
I think there were the questions.
No, there's another one there about why would people go into it? You're dealing with the problem for 3 years. You're well aware of. It's been handed from one to the other. Why isn't it dealt with?
I prefer not to comment on an individual case.
Well, I'm asking you to name Anton. I'm asking you to name names.
Let Mr. Hayes respond.
Yeah, I would like to familiarise myself with a bit more of the detail, but I'm very happy to deal with it bilaterally.
Yeah, very good. You can do that bilaterally. Thank you. So, if there are no further questions, I'm going to. There's no further. Was there a question there? Oh, to Quilcha, excuse me. Yeah.
In terms of farm partnerships, we are very much dedicated to continue to improve, and we will work to continue to do so. Our understanding is that the vast majority of our farm partners are satisfied with communication, etc. But Deputy, if you're aware of any individuals and could pass the names to us separately, we will make contact. Well.
Let Ms. Hurley finish her reply.
We want to work to continue to improve, and if there are concerns, we're very open to hearing about them, or if you could ask the individuals to get in contact with us directly. We do have a helpline available to all farm partners. We also have a local forester in each part of the country who deals with farm partners, but if there are any issues, we want to make sure they're dealt with.
Thank you. Okay.